You can store some data in a different location, but in your definition it is defined as a queue. So already we know the answer as told to us by our professor that a data structure is a way of organizing, processing and storing data. So that is what defines a data structure. So data structures can be created from abstract data types, and then they have a format, how you organize your data, how you process that data, retrieving and then how you are stored. So for us to be able to use algorithms, we need to use the correct data representation for that. Okay, of course, now this is what I have already explained, that when you organize data sets and then you allow how it is represented and which operations an algorithm can use, that is a data structure. So basically a data structure should have data managed logically, so it can be implemented in a computer, and then we can involve analysis, which we call quantitative analysis, like for example how much time it takes to access this data structure, how much memory does it take for this data structure. So usually those can be factors you depend on to choose which data structure. So if a data structure can easily be accessed, or it takes less time to go through it, it can be accessed randomly, and then another one cannot be accessed randomly, so then that can create a reason for us to choose which data structure. So data structures can be of two types. We have what we call static data structures, and these static data structures, once you declare it, you define it, it has a fixed size. So you cannot wake up when the program is running and then you want to increase or reduce the size of that data structure. So that means for you to be able to use this data structure, you must know before how many records you want to use. So if you say in my class I have 60 students and you decide to use an array, then as you enter the data, you realize you have 70 students, then you have to go back into the program and then change the size to 70. So it is static. And then we have dynamic with varying sizes. In other words, they can shrink, they can increase in size, they can, at any time you can add, you can remove. So they are dynamic. Their size can increase. So basically, this one I think you know. So types of data structures, this one we have talked about, but for some we shall also look at them. Arrays as data structures. You told me you covered C, and array is one of them, so I will not spend time on that. For those who have forgotten, we go and revise arrays. We also have what we call linked list. Linked list is also part of that. So in C, if you cover the pointers, you should have talked about a linked list, so I will not also dwell too much on that. So we have another full topic about abstract data types. So we shall look at these stacks, queues, and how they can be used. Now, trees, graphs, this one we shall look at in full. So some of the operations you can do on different data types. Of course, it can be like traversing, going through, accessing each record, searching through the data structure, deleting, updating, sorting, merging data structures. These operations, I think they are not very new. So basically, that is data structures, but remember the course is data structures and algorithms. So you need data structures for you to be able to apply different algorithms. So that brings us to what we call algorithms. Okay. So basically, we have already been given a definition of algorithms as steps to solve a problem. That is an algorithm in a computer. Steps to solve a problem. So, and once you combine you have inputs, they are processed, and then you produce an output. So if you choose a data structure and an algorithm you are going to use, then you can be able to write a program, So here is an example. You have a problem and you need to come up with a solution. Like for example, find the summation of n numbers in an array. So if you have an array, like for example, if this is an array, and you have maybe 3, 4, 6, 7, 2. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements, and the challenge is to sum the elements in this array. Okay. So the data structure has been given to you as it is an array. So your idea now is to find the algorithm, to define an algorithm. In other words, to come up with the steps